What do you count as a masterpiece? Movie, TV, book act. Why? Tetris. Why? Because it has literally zero fat on it. You couldn't even try improve upon it, you just add more fat to it. I love a complex mind-blowing masterpiece. But nothing gets me more than a oh my god this is. So simple. And yet incredible. Portal 2 video game. The first was groundbreaking, but the sequel took the basic idea and just ran wild with it. The mechanics of the game complemented by the story and the writing was top-notch. Absolute masterclass in video game production. Holes. It may sound silly, but literally everything ties together, no matter how small the detail. True Detective Season 1. Some of the best dialogue interactions between the protagonists, shot brilliantly, and it's one of the most atmospheric shows I've ever seen. I really can't say enough good things about it. Toy Story. Everything about it was revolutionary. That movie can transport people of all ages to a time of innocence and inspired imagination. The Cask of Amontillado by Edgar Allan Poe. Probably one of the most horrifying yet simplistic dark stories ever written. The idea that you are forced to watch someone as they kill you laying brick after brick is straight up nightmare fuel. The Wire. It's a show that still resonates today, even when dealing in issues from 20 years ago. Anyone who's grown up in or around poverty can find a character to relate to, and each season is its own story. Movie My Cousin Vinny. The acting is incredible. Joe Pesci chews the scenery and Marissa Tomei steals every scene she's in. She earned that Oscar. And R.I.P. Fred Gwynne aka Herman Munster. This was a fantastic last performance. It's legally accurate enough to be shown in law schools. There is no villain. Everyone in the movie is doing what they believe is right in the interest of serving justice. Every detail matters. How long it takes to cook grits, Lisa's family all being mechanics, and of course, the tire tracks. All in all, 10/10, we'll watch this movie literally any time it's on TV and even sometimes when it's not. And The Muppet Christmas Carol. I've seen approximately 1 bazillion versions of this story and obviously read the original. Love the concept in general, but nobody does the story justice as well as the motherfucking Muppets. Otherwise I love the Patrick Stewart version as far as recreation of the book goes. As for what makes it a masterpiece, I think there are 2 factors. 1. Being told by an in-universe narrator that is also omniscient. Fucking brilliant. Love that this part is played by Gonzo and that Rizzo is just there to riff. 2. Something about making Marley into the Marley Brothers is just weirdly good for the story. In the original it feels like there's a lot of things about Scrooge and Marley's relationship that we just are not getting due to the short length of the novel and Scrooge's POV. Like if it was longer I feel like we could get more into how much of Scrooge's story is about abuse etc. and how Marley plays into that, but making him into 2 PPL makes it clear that in this version he's just sort of a casual friend bully all the mean girls. Makes it a simpler story and I think easier to digest due to the simple nature of the narrative. The original Matrix basically defined action and sci-fi movies for the next 10 years, and frankly still has influence. Plus it had one of the most genius marketing campaigns of all time, that could only exist pre-mainstream internet era. Basically no one knew what The Matrix was until you watched the movie. The TV series Chernobyl. So powerful and just in a realm of its own when it comes to imagery, acting, script. 10/10 but don't think I could ever watch again. Gravity Falls. Watching through it as an adult and following along with all the details of the journals and the ciphers was a great time. Over the Garden Wall is another great watch for Halloween time. Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry is a masterpiece of fiction. A tale of friendship, honor, adventure, and chasing the dream. Dracula. Written in the epistolary-styled journals, newspapers, etc., the reader knows what they know already, but you experience the characters discovering what they do in real time. It feels. The depictions of late-night vampire hunts present the perfect mood and foreboding. I feel like I'm there. Major events concerning characters register with emotions almost as if it was me in the story. Princess Mononoke makes you realize nature is alive in ways we can't even begin to comprehend. Spirited Away. The story, the animation, everything about this movie is good. I may be a little biased since I watched it when I was young, so there's some nostalgia with it, but it's still really good. I consider To Kill a Mockingbird a masterpiece. Both the book and the movie. The reason why is because it wasn't afraid to show the racial injustices of the South. Not to mention, Gregory Peck is a phenomenal actor and I could not see anyone else playing Atticus. Amadeus 1984. That movie. A movie finished as no movie is ever finished. Displace Tom Hulce and there will be diminishment. Displace F. Murray Abraham and the structure would fall. I was staring trough the cage of those meticulously crafted scenes at an absolute beauty. Row 9 Chask. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, movies and books. Masterfully shot and written with an incredible score from Howard Shore. And the books are genuinely a basis for much of fantasy today. Game Mass Effect 1, absolutely amazing lore, world building, atmosphere, and story. Seriously the best sci-fi media piece ever. 2 and 3 are great too, but both have fairly egregious flaws and emo could never match the first game, even if I love all of them. Film series TV whatever Band of Brothers. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's honestly so damn good. Especially episode 9 hit me so damn hard. It took me a while to actually get around to watching it, but when I did I hated myself for not watching it sooner. For how short it was, I really think Over the Garden Wall was an absolute masterpiece. For those who don't know, it's an animated show that ran one season of 10 10-minute episodes about two brothers who get lost in the woods, encountering all manner of folk who are just as lost as themselves as they try to find their way home. It's one of those shows where every time you watch it, you catch a new joke or some element of foreshadowing, Easter eggs, quirks. It's cute, funny, lighthearted, heavy, enchanting, and downright heartbreaking all at once. It's got a great story and I really couldn't recommend it enough to anyone open to a whimsically spooky Halloween show to watch. Lord of the Rings Original Trilogy the movies. It just worked. The epicness of every scene can be felt without being cringe. The consistency of quality across the 3 films is just extraordinary. It was the ultimate cinematic experience. Translating a book into such a well-executed movie is also a little masterpiece in itself. Pan's Labyrinth El Laberinto del Fauno. It's beautiful, has almost no CGI, tells a story of fantasy, family, the consequences of war, and manages to make the bad guy seem understandable and hateable at the same time. It also has a nebulous quality to the fantastical elements that make it seem like it could just be a little girl imagining that she's special to escape her horrible situation. Although Guillermo del Toro specifically said that wasn't his intention. It borders on being a horror movie without leaning too far into it. It's one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite outright. The song Jolene by Dolly Parton. I'm not a fan of country music, but there's something about that song that almost transcends genre. There have also been some amazing covers made of Jolene. Wall-E. It shows what will happen if mankind became overly reliant on technology up to the point that it will destroy nature without us realizing it. As a kid I already feel like it will happen at some point in time and I realize how accurate it will be and behold, it's slowly unfolding before our eyes today. Anyways, I consider this movie a masterpiece. I also somehow dream of creating a real-life Wall-E robot that really collects and sorts garbages one day as a kid, but yeah, I think I'll give up on that. There are other ways. Into the Spider-Verse, Tron Legacy. The Shining 1980 still stands the test of time as the greatest horror film ever made. Wipes the floor with the book by Stephen King in my opinion. Why is it so great? It's like if God decided to put 100 effort into scaring the shit out of you for eternity in one film. The plot works like a hall of mirrors that extend infinitely. I don't know how such a film could even be accomplished on the technical level alone. It's a film that can't be neatly explained away or summarized. Gravity Falls. It only lasted 2 seasons, but that's all it needed. Great characters, great story with mysteries, and an amazing ending. It didn't overstay its welcome and told the story it wanted to tell. Cowboy Bebop. Only 1 season long, because it didn't have to be any longer. It told the story it needed to without milking it for more content. The soundtrack is elite tier and the visual aesthetics are stunning. The world building it manages to fit into 26 episodes is impressive. The characters and their struggles are compelling, and you can feel the existential ennui throughout the show. Also one of the only animes where the English dub is as good as or better than the original Japanese.
I hope you all are doing well, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed this video. If you have something to say critically or otherwise, leave a comment. And if you enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe to see more of it. I hope you all have wonderful and fulfilled lives.